For 1 year, Denver will provide 140 people experiencing homelessness with $12,000 as part of a program testing universal basic income. This, according to Axios. This no strings attached experiment joins other major cities, including Chicago and Los Angeles, in an effort to provide stability to people in vulnerable circumstances.
Here to tell us more about what's going on in Denver is founder of Denver Basic Income Project, Mark Donovan. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, great to have you. I know universal basic income is an idea that I think a lot of our viewers have interest in. I've had interest in it as well. It seems like in many cases, a worthy alternative to some of the kind of protections we give people currently. What is going on with this program specifically? And I guess my first question is, is targeting homeless people with this kind of program, does that, whether it succeeds or fails, what will that have to say about whether a more general kind of universal basic income plan could be a good idea?
That's a great question. Well, we are modeling after the New Leaf project in Vancouver that provided 7,500 Canadian to 50 individuals in their temporary shelter and had really promising results. And we thought it was really important to build upon that success. And we've been seeing across the country and around the world the efficacy of direct cash being proven with organizations like Give Directly and Mayor Tubbs' demonstration project in Stockton, and the results keep coming in with really powerful results. So, there's two issues. One is addressing homelessness and poverty, and the second question is kind of the bigger question of the role of universal basic income, and those are two big questions.
Yeah, one. Go ahead, Batya.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you, Mark, what does success look like to you 12 months from now with this program?
Well, part of it in this first phase is learning. There's a lot to learn about how to do this well. Success looks like many people achieving greater stability, housing, hopefully, because we know that housing is a powerful stepping stone to stability and thriving in society. But also just learning how to do this and how to address different segments of the population in ways that meet them where they are at.
So I agree that direct cash payments, direct cash assistance can often be a better welfare intervention than kind of, more structured thing. People who need money, they know what they need, right? And just kind of giving it to them without, or making them jump through bureaucratic hoops, that can be self-defeating, even though there are often, good intentions behind those kinds of things. I guess my concern here, because it seems like, well, and I don't know the specific situation in Denver, but at least in other parts of the country experiencing very bad homelessness issues, a lot of the homelessness seems to be caused by severe mental illness and severe drug addiction, and where it might be people in those situations versus people who don't have enough income or are out of work or maybe are still housed but not in ideal circumstances, but do not have severe mental illness or drug addiction. I could see how money could really help those people, but by contrast, I could see why maybe just giving money to people who are on the street because they need to be near their drug dealer or they're shaking, they're off medication. We're just giving them money without pushing them toward the medical interventions they really need, might fail. Where this program could succeed if it had a different user base. Do you understand that? What would be your response to that?
So one of the criteria of this first phase of the program is that the individuals applying are not presenting with severe and specifically untreated mental health or substance needs. So I agree with you. There are risks there, and we're looking to mitigate those risks as much as possible. And we also don't see the cash as a kind of a single fix-all intervention. We see it needing to be layered along with other service providers, and that's why part of our program is designed around working with 20 different community-based service providers who have decades of experience working in the field and with these trust-based relationships. And part of what we'll learn with the randomized control trial that's accompanying the project is what particular services and approaches work best with individual segments of the population. So again, it's about learning what works where. I think one of the things we can all agree with is that what we're doing right now is not working.
That's so fascinating. So what you're saying is when people apply for this program, it is specifically setting up a check early on to say this is not for people who are drug dependent or who are mentally ill. This is specifically for the kind of person who, maybe lost their job, maybe fell off and ended up homeless, but actually, given just a little bit of assistance would be able to get back on their feet. Am I understanding that correctly?
We have 4 criteria to apply for the program. You need to be 18 or over, you need to be unhoused by the McKinney-Vento definition. So we went a little more broad. So somebody that's couch surfing would also potentially be able to apply. You need to be connected with one of our partner organizations. And then again, not presenting with severe and specifically untreated mental health or substance needs. So those are the criteria, and we're trying to be as inclusive and accessible as possible for anybody that meets that criteria to apply and have the potential to participate in this first round.
Well,
and it's also, sorry, Robbie, we're going to clarify one more thing. This is not taxpayer funded, right? Did I understand that correctly? This is a charity, a charitable organization is funding this?
Well, it's a public-private partnership. So we started with private donations, and the foundations came in and supported us very strongly, like the Colorado Health Foundation, the Colorado Trust, the Denver Foundation. But then we did also receive some funding from the city of Denver. We received $2 million of ARPA funds from them, and we also received some funds from the state. The Department of Local Affairs, we received a community service block grant. So it's a public-private partnership, and we think that the more people that get involved in working together to try to solve these really difficult problems, the better, rather than working in silos.
Well, and you could see how this could even be an incentive, or maybe not this specific program, but a program like it. It could be incentive for people who are homeless and are suffering drug addiction and mental health, maybe particularly mental health. If you get back on your meds, you can qualify for a program. You could receive $12,000. The hope would be, right, that offering people incentives to engage in better behavior, more social behavior, less of sleeping on the streets in filth or harming themselves and others. If you can incentivize not doing that, rather than, because none of us want to see, when we talk about this issue a lot on the show, and I think nobody wants to see the police come and break up encampments, and that's not safe either. But we do want to move people into better situations for themselves and for the public. So is that a hope, by holding out you could get this money if you meet these criteria, if you work toward this goal of better mental health and better, a relationship to drugs and alcohol, that could be a carrot rather than a stick.
Well, I think one of the foundational elements of this program is the trust that we're placing in individuals, and we're saying to them that we believe in you and we trust you, and we're going to respect your agency to know what you need in your life to take it to the next to a place where you're stable and safe and thriving. So yes, and one of the things that by making that statement and giving the cash unconditionally, it does create a sense of hope and a sense that this is different than those hoops that you were talking about that people have to jump through to receive some type of support. And so we think that hope could be possibly as important as the cash. And we do hope that by connecting individuals with these partner organizations, that we create a more accelerated pathway to success for these individuals.
Very, very interesting stuff, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be back with more Rising in just a minute.